Every club. Every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.
Hello and welcome to another special episode for the Carabao Cup, where we will talk about the Liverpool-Tottenham semi-final game and the final between Liverpool and Newcastle that will be playing on March 16. This is your host, Viktor, with the Global Sports Podcast Network. And today I'm joined by two very happy Liverpool fans. The quadruple dream is still alive. So we're going to hear from Louie and Marcus. How are you guys?
Yeah, good. I hate the quadruple shout, but I love it at the same time.
Secretly, I just want to jinx it. I just want to jinx it secretly as a Man United fan.
Yeah, Victor's a Man United fan, so he'll be quite upset to see Liverpool doing well.
And we did spend some time before hitting record talking about our age, and I feel like I am the perennial Liverpool fan who doesn't still quite believe, and I'm just pinching myself right now that is still on. I did start yesterday's episode saying, "Hey, Spurs could win a treble." So yeah, why not? Let's dare to dream.
Yes.
To be honest with you, the way the things are going, I would not be surprised if you guys get all four. But we'll see.
I would.
See how it goes.
All four is quite a feat.
They need to fix the contract situation as soon as possible before it becomes a problem and someone else try to step in, and then you lose the dressing room. Something's going to happen with Salah, some talks that he might go somewhere else, and then everything can go downhill from there. So
he was
give him the money,
whatever when he scored.
Whatever he's asking, give him the money.
Liverpool fans have been saying that for about it feels like over a year. When you look at what he's done, what he's capable of, another fantastic finish for the penalty today. We have all been saying whatever it takes, give him what he wants. And as you said, Louie, not just scoring a fantastic penalty, but I think he's making it very clear where his heart lies. And that is certainly with LFC. And I agree, Victor, we do need to sort that out. No business done in the transfer window, but also, squad looking incredible. And we will obviously talk about the game, but one of the moments that I did feel sorry for Spurs today, particularly
so did I.
Around the 70th minute when changes started to be made and you started to see McAllister and Jota coming on and then Diaz coming on, and you go, oh my word, this is some team.
It's rubbing our squad depth in their face, because that's what they've struggled with all season. I do feel bad for Spurs, you're right, and as the football fan in me did kind of want to see Spurs or Newcastle win the Carabao Cup, and Newcastle still might, but as a Liverpool fan, you can't feel too bad. You want to go for all four. Let's continue going for all four. But like you said about the contract situation, I think FSG are what they're doing is taking a risk by thinking, well, if they win the league, they will be able to negotiate more stuff on their terms, because as it stands, I mean, we saw in the Champions League, Liverpool very well could be the best team in the world at the moment, and when we are playing like we played against Spurs just now, rightly so, we can take advantage of that situation.
Yeah. I think the issue might be, what if some club from Saudi Arabia comes in and offers Salah 3 times of what he's making now, or what he's asking from Liverpool, and then that gets into his head, and that's when the problems start. So, they need to get that sorted, and Van Dijk as well. Trent, I love Trent, but I love Bradley as well, so...
Yeah, Bradley had a great match. Yeah, what a match.
He did have a great game. So, interestingly, I thought he had a great game. And he looked really good off the ball as well. There's some really smart defensive decisions made that kept Son quiet until about the 70th minute, when he kind of came alive. But there were a few moments where I thought he was just kind of a bit too heavy-handed in his tackles. I mean, Anfield loved it. He was flying in just like he did on Kylian Mbappe, and people were saying, you could feel the crowd getting behind him. But I also thought, oh gosh, you make just, a few seconds the wrong way and you're off the pitch. So that did worry me. But yeah, very good game. And again, highlights the depth of the squad, which this time last season we were not saying. I think Liverpool fans were crying out for investment in all the windows, and looked at the business with Slot coming in the summer and went, oh, we're not doing anything. But so far, so good.
I don't think we need to. I just think, with FSG, they can. I trust them wholeheartedly with everything that they're doing. Our youth coming through, and the youth that we still have, even in midfield, defensive midfield, Tyler Morton, Trainioni coming through the ranks. The way that they played in, I think it was the FA Cup against Accrington Stanley, which is showing we don't need to buy players. We have the players. We just the only one I think is centre backs, but that's it. So
it's interesting to hear, the change of tone around FSG's business model, because there's certainly a section of Liverpool fans who are like, hang on a minute, this club needs investment. Talk about kind of getting close in previous seasons and thinking, hang on a minute, the Anfield Road stand, I've been there a few times now, the new stand, it is fantastic, and I can't believe it's part of our stadium, which is amazing. So you can see the kind of long-term plan there, but there is a frustration when you saw Casado and other players kind of going to other teams.
Zubimendi as well. I mean, that frustrated me.
But actually, I think you are right. The squad looks incredible. It doesn't look particularly different. I think the difference here is you've got a manager in Slot who is really managing players, game times, injuries, and it's making the difference. And the difference can be seen in the team that Spurs had to field today.
Yeah, absolutely. Should we talk about the match then?
Yeah. How did you guys feel before the game, being down 1-0?
Confident, to be honest. I didn't really feel like, because I think the reason I was so confident is because it was at Anfield at 8 p.m. and that is the worst stadium in the country to go to when you have a 1-goal lead to defend. And we saw even during the second half, and I say this all the time about Anfield, as soon as the fans take over and sing so much like they were today, even bringing back some of the old classics, it's like tactics go out the window, and it's just men against boys. That Szoboszlai goal completely depicted that, with the with Bradley being up as a number 10 at that point, getting the assist. Szoboszlai, the most suave player in the world, taking that goal so nicely. And it just felt like everything was going in our favour. So I didn't think we would win by 4, but I felt very comfortable that we would score 2 at least goals.
Yeah. You could tell from the very beginning how hungry they were, and it was just all Liverpool all game.
Yeah,
I wanted to see penalties, but again,
oh gosh, my heart wouldn't have taken it, and I would have worried about stretching this squad. And you're right, Victor, about the hunger, because it felt like the game was done before the goals were banging in. To be honest, it was only a matter of time. But you saw, and Szoboszlai typified this, 92nd minute, and he was still chasing down, still pressing, and they were just they were like Andy Robertson was saying a couple of years ago. I think it was against Man United. They were ruthless. They did not let up, which was such a great thing to see. To have been there tonight at Anfield, I think would have been really special.
Yeah. Well, we can pretty much go straight to the final if you guys are for it, because there's nothing else to say about Liverpool. This was totally one-sided. There was nothing really Tottenham that there was no contest in this game. But first of all, before we do that, we'll have a quick word from our sponsors, and then we'll come back to analyze the final and give you our predictions.
Here at the Global Sports Podcast Network, we spent a lot of time selecting our delivery platform. Zencastr came out as the clear winner. With 4K video recording from your phone and AI editing that automatically removes all those ums and ahs, it's super easy to start a podcast that sounds great and is delivered efficiently. If you're ready to tell your story, check out the link in the description to learn more about Zencastr. This podcast is part of the Global Sports Podcast Network, the only network bringing you exclusive daily news and views on your Premier League team, the Premier League, women's football, and fantasy football. A unique listening experience that puts fans first, bringing you the very latest breaking news from your team. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and make us your first listen every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network. Every club, every day.
I was really putting on my advert voice for that one, honestly. So I just do the rest of the podcast. I do the rest of the podcast with that voice. So, looking ahead to the final at the Wembley Stadium.
That's awesome.
Right, anyway, let's move on. I'm getting embarrassed now.
Why?
This is the advert for Louie to be the voice of the trains.
You just have the voice for it. That's all it is.
You're very kind, guys. Thank you.
But yeah, let's move to the final. Liverpool-Newcastle. That's going to be one exciting game. To be honest with you, I'll give you my prediction right away, and you can talk to me bad about it. This is how it's going to play out. Isak is going to score in the first half, 0-1.
Okay. Yeah.
Liverpool's going to score in the second half to tie it. It's going to go to overtime. And listen to this. If Darwin Núñez starts on the bench, he's going to score in overtime to win you the game.
I mean, that would be
2-1 overtime,
beautiful.
Darwin Núñez to win it.
That would be beautiful. You sound like a Liverpool fan, mate. It's like you want this as well.
I'm just trying to be nice here to you guys.
I mean, as long as it's not 3-3. The classic Newcastle Liverpool.
I mean, whenever it's a League Cup final, me and my dad always meet up with our mates at Box Park Croydon. Yeah, that's where we go to watch the matches. Actually, an incredible venue when there's not a punch up, but it's typical Croydon, honestly. But honestly, like, it's incredible going there because you meet up with other Liverpool fans, but that makes you even more stressed. Like, you're just watching it as a group, and it's tense. So the penalty shootouts I had to watch for the last League Cup final with Chelsea, not the last one, the one before, sorry. That was absolute. When Mane missed win the FA Cup as well, I thought that was it. But yeah, it will be an incredible final because, you know, two incredible fan bases in Liverpool and Newcastle. And, you know, the Newcastle players will be really up for it. I'm scared of Isak. He is unbelievable. Even Jacob Murphy has suddenly found himself in a little bit of form, finding himself in the right place at the right time in 2 occasions in a row now for Newcastle. But I mean, if there's anything with Newcastle, it's sort of playing on atmosphere. They do it at St James's Park very often, and I mean, I think Liverpool win in quality, but I just think Isak is so good that he can probably win the match on his own, and that's what scares me the most about them.
I think the difference for Newcastle is definitely Tonali, because once he got fit to play 90,
that's true.
It's been a change for them. You can tell how Isak always finds the play to be open. They create that, and he gives like support to like Bruno and Joelinton. It's a different Newcastle for sure, and they're so exciting to watch. That's another thing. It's not just they're winning; they're really dangerous all the time.
And Gordon is really creative as well, and
what a hard worker.
Shows no fear. Yeah, I think it's a really good signing, and he seems to be really, you know, happy playing at Newcastle. Interesting as well. I don't think Murphy got enough props for that finish, by the way. Straight off the post and really tidy finish.
Because, I mean, with the Bournemouth match, when we played against them and the ball came straight to Kluivert, he panicked. And, you know, even him, as good a player as he is and as experienced now in the Premier League with scoring goals this season, he panicked. But Jacob Murphy is one of these players that has just sort of come alive recently. And, I mean, Almiron, we know is not as starting to look a little bit like a one-season wonder on the right wing.
He's already back in Atlanta, so
yes,
he's already back. Yeah,
he's away. He's gone.
He's already back to his Atlanta club. I actually watched him.
I actually didn't know that. I completely missed that bit of news.
Yeah.
Really?
That's because what transfer news was Villa.
Yeah,
He
it
was
literally was.
destroying it in the MLS before he moved to England.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
At one point, he had a big impact in Newcastle, but yeah.
He was that guy that he used to do the celebration with as well. Do you remember what I'm talking about? I've forgotten who it is now, but I mean, yeah, it's good that he's gone back to his. I always love it when a player goes back to the club that made them, and that's why I was really happy to see Jota go back to Celtic. Yeah, good. I mean, I think he'll probably find his form there again because he'll be made as their number one player again. So yeah. that would be less pressure on Murphy as well. Now he can express himself comfortably.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's kind of, we're seeing, I mean, Isak's been in form all season, really, and the fans have made no secret about how much they want him to stay. But Newcastle, okay, a little blip at home against Fulham, starting to find their feet. They've got a huge run of big games ahead of them across all competitions. But of all the teams you could face in the final, you talk about the atmosphere, Louis. The Magpies fans, they will bring some atmosphere, and
They'll be drunk. They'll be very drunk.
I have spoken enough on this podcast about whether or not this competition is worth the effort of any team involved, but I'm so excited to see a Newcastle Liverpool final. The atmosphere for anyone, neutral, Geordie, Liverpool, whoever is there, I think you're in for such a game.
There have been so many classics between Liverpool and Newcastle. You think about the Stan Collymore one when he scored the last one, which unfortunately went on to give Manchester United the league. And then, there you go. There's your bit of praise. There was also the Fabio Carvalho one where he scored in like the 97th minute in the last second of the match, basically. And there was the Darwin Núñez one, which I just absolutely love that match when he scored 2 goals and we were a man down because Van Dijk got sent off. Cinema.
I actually wish I could go to that final, but it would be kind of pathetic for me to the first game I watch in England to be Liverpool. So I'm gonna wait for a different game.
It's hard. It'll be hard to get tickets anyway, mate.
For my first game in England.
I would love to get tickets.
Van Dijk being sent off, actually, I'm sure the Spurs fans will have a word about this. Early on in the game, against Richarlison, bit of a tussle. I think he was a bit lucky not to get a card for that.
I don't know. I thought it was just a bit of a coming together. But my biggest takeaway of that was when Richarlison was getting back up, Van Dijk offered him a hand.
Yes.
Richarlison went to take his hand. Van Dijk took his hand away, jogged off. It was not a good day for Richarlison against Liverpool. Went off injured as well. I hope he's all right.
Yeah, but he did start looking a bit lively. He looked like he was up for it. And it was weird because Spurs did start looking like they were up for it. And then, I think you're right, Louis, that the crowd must have got to them. It's like Kinski just forgot how to catch a ball for most of the game. But I don't think Liverpool will get in the heads of the Newcastle players in the same way. And I think Eddie Howe is a really good tactician. And also, if Newcastle win a bit of silverware, as a neutral, I think that's what you want, right?
I don't think they've won
70 years.
Yeah,
1955.
Yeah. I mean, that would be amazing for Newcastle because it's like when you look at how good they have been over the years. I mean, that team in the 90s with Asprilla and co.
Asprilla.
Yeah, that was a team that deserved to win at least something. But no, 1955 was the last time they won anything.
Wow.
And
gosh, with
a fan base that dedicated, you'd think they deserve something. Just hopefully not against us. I mean, this is they got into the League Cup final a couple of years ago, didn't they? When Karius was in goal.
It was like 2 years
Pope
ago.
Was suspended, and what was his name? Dubravka was cup tied already, so he went back to. So he wasn't allowed to play. So Karius played, and to be fair, wasn't actually that bad. But United were better, and that's one of the reasons I think Ten Hag probably should have kept his job in the end. But there we go.
Oh yes. Well, I did ask Chris Mervyn from the Spurs podcast yesterday. What now is a good season for Spurs? What is the goal? As we have our illustrious host from overseas, the Man United fan, this would have been a trophy. I think United fans would have been happy to have. coming to the tail end, not really a tail end, it's still February, coming to this part of the season, just curious, what is the goal for a United fan? What's a good season look like come May?
I can tell you what's my goal: not to get a heart attack watching those clowns. With them, I don't know. If we can take Europa League, that would be insane. But yeah, you know what? My dad texted me. So when Amorim took over, and I don't know what game we lost. It was like we lost to someone really badly, and says, "You guys should get relegated, and then you can build from start." That's gonna be the perfect scenario for you guys. You deserve that. And it's probably
funny
right.
enough, Europa League. I don't think a Europa League is out of the question for either Man United or Tottenham Hotspur, because we did see a very weak side today. A lot of injuries. They're starting to come back, and this is a team that tore Manchester City, a good Manchester City side, apart. So, maybe not all hope is lost for Tottenham fans.
Yeah,
I mean, you have nothing else to play for. That's the thing. You are in a position now where you can go for anything for next year for Europe. I don't think Tottenham or United is going to get to a position that's going to get them to Europe. So this is their route to get to play somewhere.
Yeah, and also if they win the Europa League, they enter the Champions League for next season.
Yeah,
and I am just looking at the Newcastle title history, and actually they did win the Intertoto Cup in 2006, so that's the last bit of silverware they've won.
Wow.
They've won other things as well. They won the Fairs Cup in 1969. They won the Texaco Cup, which I've never heard of, in 74 and 75 consecutively, and the Anglo-Italian Cup in 1973. So, I mean, you'll never sing that, I believe, is what they'll be saying.
We're laughing now. Hopefully we'll be laughing come Sunday the 16th of March.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am the pessimistic Liverpool fan in the corner. I am worried about a fixture against Newcastle at Wembley, and I think they will be totally up for it. And possibly not fighting on as many fronts, although probably not with the same squad depth that Liverpool have got. So, Victor, you've made a prediction, which I think is pretty close to what I would say. I think Newcastle will score first, and it will be Isak. I do think the game will be done in 90 minutes, though.
Really? You think they're going to turn it in the second half?
Yeah, and I think
2 goals?
I think what we've seen a lot of this season is some smart management of games and players where come 60th, 70th minute, ring the changes, and the depth and quality will just overrun. Because also, one of the things that happened today, I think Spurs ran out of legs because they just didn't have the ball for so long, and they were being pressed over and over again. And I feel like it's that tenacity that this team has got, plus the depth, that's going to make the difference over 90 minutes.
I don't like.
I feel like Newcastle consistency is something like you see, like they play good and then they lose to Bournemouth 4-1. The same happened with Fulham when you get like super confident and then the other team. But I mean, again, it's a final. They're obviously going to be focused, but it's also something that's new for them. Liverpool been in this situation a lot of times in the last few years.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. How are you gonna adapt to that situation?
And go on. Sorry,
I was just glancing at the upcoming fixtures. Apart from the FA Cup, away to Manchester City, hosting Nottingham Forest, a league game away Anfield, Liverpool on the 26th of February, away to West Ham, and then the Carabao Cup final. That is a lot for a team to take into a final, and I'm curious how Eddie Howe is going to manage this squad, because they're big games.
Yes, I suppose you'll be looking as well to our match against Newcastle in the Premier League for an indication of how the final could go, in terms of will it maybe be a test, like a sort of friendly, even heading up to that match, trying out their tactics, and it could be an exhibition in that respect, even though Liverpool are going for the title. And also that match is at Anfield at 8:15 in the evening, so that you get the feeling that won't be a real resemblance of the atmosphere they'll be experiencing at Wembley Stadium.
Yeah, and I can imagine there'll be a lot more Newcastle fans at Wembley as well. Although recent history amongst fans at Wembley has been, there's been a lot of debate as to how comes there's so many tickets for Liverpool fans. I don't know what's going on and how these tickets make their way more so to the red half, but I'm not complaining.
Bigger club. That's it. That's your answer, Marcus. That's the one. Just too humble to say it.
Well, we can pretty much wrap it up here. I think we covered pretty much everything, unless you guys have anything else to say. And
I mean, I think Liverpool said it all already. And I'll keep my pessimist hat on for the final. I do hope for a Liverpool result, but also, wouldn't it be nice to see Newcastle lift a trophy?
Don't say that. What kind of Liverpool fan are you? You should be ashamed of yourself.
I'm trying my best to be neutral. This is
maybe a good way to not get disappointed if you're ready for that.
Yeah, no, because I'd be annoyed that it would be against us. I don't listen, I'm a football fan. I absolutely would love to see the smaller team, well, I say the smaller in comparison teams win something, because it would give their fans happiness. And, I'm all about that sort of, what's the word? Sentimental crap, but...
I am very sentimental.
I'm very sentimental as well, but it's Liverpool in a League Cup final. We're going for the quadruple. Let's just toss them out the way and then have ourselves a lovely bit of silverware in Slot's first Liverpool final,
which would be amazing. Yeah,
which would be absolutely incredible. And
but Louie, let me throw this out to you.
Go on.
Quadruple is on.
Yeah.
But if it could only be one piece of silverware at the end of this season, what would you like Liverpool to go home with?
Premier League, I think. Just because, listen, we've won the Champions League 6 times and each one has felt better than the last, even though I've only seen one because I'm that young. But
we've seen him for you.
Yeah. Thank you very much. But The Premier League is the one thing we haven't won in front of the fans, and I think it's about time that we win that. However,
I agree.
If it's the Champions League and we don't win the Premier League, I would take that. Not saying I want that to happen, because we're this far ahead in the Premier League, and for us to slip, it would be horrific. And I also hate the word slip. I won't use that again. Let's move on.
See, the one thing is about winning everything for this season would be, I would feel bad for Klopp, because he is one of my favorite coaches. And imagine he left his team and now they win a quadruple. And it took him how many years to just win one each, Premier League and Champions League. And this guy comes in with his team and wins all of it in one season.
He's still a Liverpool fan, so I don't think he would be too... let's also think, would Klopp actually want to be in charge of Liverpool with that job? Because, the amount of media attention Arne Slot's got since he joined, I'm sure Klopp's looking at that and just you know what, I don't fancy that anymore. He said it himself, he was running out of energy for it, so, But,
brave move. And also, I think...
to come to the League Cup final, I'm sure Liverpool would be happy to have him.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And, the interesting kind of part here about kind of Klopp and, this team winning or potentially winning all those trophies is, I don't think there's a Liverpool fan or a neutral who doesn't understand where that team has been built and come from. Yes, Slot has put his stamp on it and made it less injury prone and kicked it on and brought players up who I didn't think were going to make it. But I think no one can deny that team was built by Klopp. So he can still hold his head up high if the quadruple happens.
It's like Shankly and Paisley in that sense, isn't it? Klopp built the team, Arne Slot led them to greater success, while Klopp also had success in his own right. So, yeah.
The recruitment's been phenomenal for Liverpool. I gotta say that compared to Man United. I don't know who does our recruitment in Italy, who brought Xerxes and Højlund and all these guys. It's just, I'm in pain just thinking about it.
and I'm old enough to remember a time where I was in pain just watching Man United win everything.
Yeah.
All right, well, we can wrap it up here. I want to thank you both for joining me and obviously everyone else tuning in. Make sure you give us a like and subscribe before you go, and we'll see you guys next time.
Every club, every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.